Hey everybody, I am back on again today with another devotion that God has given me. And I just want to say, I don't really plan for anything that I'm going to say on here. Not because I don't want to, because I do. I am a planner, I'm an organizer, and I want to know all the things that I need to say before I'm going to have to say them. But if I'm being honest, that's not how God works 99.9% of the time. So here I am, just doing what God's telling me to do. And I'll tell you, I started in the back of Limitless. If you have a copy of it, today we're going to be on day 59. I started in the back. But, you know how God, He tends to get you way out of your comfort zone. So the devotion for today is day 59. That he led me to, but it's actually going to be James 4 is where we're going to be at. Because as much as I want to focus on what the devotional says, that's not where God had me today. So, bear with me as I just share straight from what the Holy Spirit's showing me today. So, it's in James 4. And the verse that I discussed in the devotional in Limitless is James 4:14. But that's not where I want to talk about today. That's not where I want to focus on. I want to focus on James 4:1 through, well, pretty much the whole chapter of chapter 4. But it says in verse 3, it says, "Ye ask and receive not, because ye ask amiss, that ye may consume it upon your lust." And the word amiss means wrong or faulty. And the word lust means a longing desire. So what I want to ask you guys today, are you living a life of contentment or longing? Because what this is talking about is, before that it says, "Ye lust and have not, ye kill and desire to have, and cannot obtain. Ye fight and war, yet ye have not, because ye ask not." Verse 3, "Ye ask and receive not, because you ask amiss, that ye may consume it upon your lust." And in verse 4, it talks about, "Whosoever therefore will be a friend of the world is the enemy of God." And so what this is talking about, what God showed me in this, and is that how many times in our life are we longing after something that God doesn't have for us right in this moment, but that He's actually preparing us for in this moment, and that's why we don't have it yet. So we're so focused on what we're longing for that we're actually not living in contentment in the preparation and the growth and the uncomfortableness of right now to actually be prepared for whatever it is that He has for us in the future. And maybe it's a job, maybe it's a relationship, maybe it's a career change, maybe it's it could be anything. It could be all kinds of different things. Whatever it is that you have on your heart right now, though, you know what it is. You know what it is that you're longing for. You know what it is that you can't stop thinking about, or that you can't, you just keep trying to make it happen, or you keep trying to, try to figure it all out. And like I talked about in yesterday's devotional, what we think about and what we have in our hearts is eventually going to come out, and we're going to start talking about it, and we're going to start, we're just going to continue longing for it. And so today I want to ask you guys, are you living a life of contentment or a life of longing? Are you longing after something that God does not have for you in this moment? And I'm not saying that different longings and desires aren't good, but what I'm saying is, are we taking those to God and being like, "Okay, God, if this isn't your time right now for this new job or for this change of whatever, then how are you preparing me for what you have prepared for me?" And that's what I'm getting at today. It says later in this chapter, it says in verse 7, "Submit yourself therefore to God. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you. Draw nigh to God, and He will draw nigh to you. Cleanse your hands, ye sinners, and purify your hearts, ye double-minded. Be afflicted and mourn and weep. Let your laughter be turned into mourning, and your joy to heaviness." Humble yourself in the sight of the Lord, and he shall lift you up. What are we doing to take those desires to God? Are we drawing nigh to God and submitting ourselves to God and surrendering ourselves to God and asking him to help us be content where we are, so that one day when I wanted to go a certain direction, but here's the thing. I talked about it the other day. God gives much more than what we could ask or think. So the things that we're actually longing for, God probably has much more in mind for us than what we can even imagine. So what are we doing now to live in contentment for what he has much more for us in the future? Because he has a plan for our life. He has a future for us. And he wants to see you live an abundant and joyful life full of grace and love and mercy and forgiveness. And he wants that for you. And today, I just want to encourage you to check your motives, to check and see, are you living a life of longing or contentment? Because 1 Timothy 6:6 says, but godliness with contentment is great gain. Are we living a life submitted to Christ and living in contentment in what is right in front of us right now? Because let's be honest, we're all in quarantine right now. Most of us are at home, or because of what's going on, there's some kind of discomfort in your life right now. The question is, are you embracing it, or are you filling it with something else in your life to distract yourself from the discomfort that you feel? Because that longing desire that you have, it can be God glorifying if you live in contentment now and trust that God is going to fulfill that desire in a way that glorifies him above all else, instead of fulfilling, what did it say? It said, consume it upon your lust, upon your longing desire. So what are we doing now to live in contentment instead of longing after something that we don't need right now? Because let's be honest, God says, I think it's in Philippians, it says he will meet your needs according to his riches and glory. And so if we don't have it right now, then we don't need it right now. And we can live in contentment knowing that when we need it, God will put it in our life. And so today, I want to encourage you to check your motives, to check, maybe you have that longing desire. Take it and surrender it to God and be like, okay, God, if this is not your will, if this is not God glorifying, then take it and do as you please with it. Help me to live in contentment now, to prepare for what you have for me in the future. So I want to leave that question with you guys today. I've said it multiple times in this video, but I really I cannot express enough how much we need to check our motives and check to see if what we're running after is actually God glorifying, or if we're trying to consume it upon our own desires. So today, sit down, write down a list of whatever it is that you have on your heart. Do a brain dump and check and see what it is that you have in your life and what's going on. And when you do that, maybe write goals out. Maybe just do an overall goal list, and then just be content right where God has you right now. Be content in growing and being uncomfortable, because that is where God will meet us the most, is because we have to be completely and totally dependent on him. So I'm praying for you guys today. I hope this encourages you, because God really encouraged me with it today, because this is not anything of me but all him. And I pray that he speaks to you today, and I just want you guys to know I'm praying for you guys. Again, if you have any prayer requests, please comment below or send me a message. But I love you guys, and I'm so excited to see you guys every single day. Bye. Oh, also, real quick, after I do these live videos in this discussion, I've been posting them to my Savvy Reads page. So if you want to share them with anybody, I know this group is private. So if you want to share this with anybody, I will post this here in just a little bit on my Savvy Reads page, and you can share it with whoever you want. Bye, guys.